Jennifer Bailey, you guys ready?
Yes.
Leila, are you ready?
I am, thank you.
Super. Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Albany County Commissioners regular meeting for May 16, 2023. Like called. Never. I like to call meeting order and Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Rivera. Good. You have to go so here. Item 2, would you join the standing go to the pledge of allegiance, please? The pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, a public hearing, we have none, so it moves us on to item 4. Public comment. If you could just come up and state your name and give us your comments here at the lectern, that would be great. Is there any public comment tonight? Oh, please, go ahead, sir.
What would you say? State your name and what?
Just your name. Yes,
Okay, my name is Mike Schilt. I'm not learning. And I was, I just got a question for the commissioners. I was asked by some parents that were concerned about the drag queens reading at the library. So I went to the library today and talked to them about that, and they said that they've done it in the past and they are scheduling some more for this summer. I guess the question is, as a taxpayer, as a citizen, is this the best use of our county money to provide a building, a meeting place for these people for this group of people? And is this really the best time, or what's best for kids, what's best for the children? And so I'm just concerned that, and wondering with some other parents why we don't celebrate things like people that aren't gay, or do we celebrate traditional marriage? Why are we not doing these things in our library, but we're allowing these drag queens to read stories to children that are inappropriate, in my opinion, books that they told me that they had and the library has them. And so I guess I'm just concerned that this is not the best use of taxpayer money, and should public facilities be used for this sort of activity. And I guess are the commissioners is there a concern for the community, for the youth of this community, or what is the concern? So I guess that's basically my question. Is why are we allowing this in the library?
Thank you, Mr. Schilt. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
I've got some questions.
I wouldn't appreciate that.
I just want to kind of piggyback on what Mike's concern is that childhood is a time of joy and innocence, and this must be a natural right for all children. And they become adults too soon enough, as we all know, and childhood is a time to be cherished. June is Pride Fest month. In the past, drag queens have been given permission by the Albany County Public Library to read to young children. I don't think it's appropriate for children to be exposed to drag queens any more than a child should be taken to a strip club or a restaurant chain that is known for provocative uniforms. Drag queens do not sit and just read a simple innocent story to children, but select inappropriate stories that glorify their personal sexual choices and exotic lifestyle. Those defending drag shows are harmless entertainment, have framed critics as driven as anti-gay sentiments. But calling out the grooming aspect of this behavior has nothing to do with drag queens being gay. It has everything to do with exposing children, our children, to sexual explicit content, which is known to be harmful to children's natural development. If the drag queens are or were instead women dancing provocatively giving lap dances and removing their clothing in front of children onlookers. I'm certain staff and fellow audience members would be disgusted and appalled. The dancers would surely be asked to leave, and there would be a high probability that the Child Protective Services would be called to investigate the intentions of the Albany County Library and maybe Albany County government. So encouraging children to watch strangers touch areas of their body, perform sexually suggestive dance as entertainment to promote literacy is desensitizing our children to overt depictions of adult sexuality. And this is pretty dangerous territory, especially in childhood development. I mean, can you imagine 1 to 5 year olds, they're very impressionable. They deserve a healthy, innocent upbringing. I have an article that I've read and I brought from the healthychildren.org and sexual behaviors in young children and what is normal and what is not. And there's a table in here that shows examples of sexual behaviors in children 2 through 6 years of age. Categories are listed from common normal behaviors to uncommon behavior in normal children to rarely normal. This article supports dysfunction occurs when children are exposed to sexual content, sexual exploitation and abuse. And it mentions that neuropsychiatric disorders can develop. Sexual behavior problems may pose as a risk to the safety and the well-being of your child and other children. These behaviors problems include lack of focus. It's all in here in this constant disruptions, ADHD, PTSD, the exclusion of other activities because the child cannot be redirected, causes emotional and psychological pain, injury to themselves and others, physical aggressiveness, and the child involves in coercion or force. And they simulate penetrative and or adult sexual acts. And these are 2 to 6 year olds. So a child is not a prop to be used for political statements or for showing off that one is open-minded and hip. The fact that some parents see no issue and support, in fact, some parents see no issue and support this trend, but most parents do have justified issues and concerns with their children being exposed to drag queens in our public library. The sexual nature of the drag queen culture is not morally or developmentally appropriate for our young people. It's just not. Now, I'm a retired teacher of 27 years. And as an educator, I've seen and taught children who have been inappropriately sexualized, abused, and exposed to adult sexual content. And it breaks, it's heartbreaking. It's really hard to teach these kids that didn't have a choice. This was pushed on them. These children were high-risk learners. They're social outcasts. They're affected mentally and emotionally. We might never know for sure exactly what directly affects children in what way, but at the very least, and messages are harmful to children in the long term. Until then, we as citizens have a moral responsibility. We have this moral responsibility to protect our community's greatest asset, and that's our kids. And I'm extremely a passionate advocate for kids. I mean, being a teacher was so rewarding, but boy, they don't have a voice. So people like us have to step up and say, this is not right. As a concerned resident of Albany County, I request that our tax dollars stop funding the Albany County Public Library. Thank you.
Anybody else? Public comment? About nobody online. Commissioners, I entertain motion to close the public comment, please.
Move to close the public comment.
Second,
Second.
moving second, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing that all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 5. Commissioner Jones, any disclosure?
None today.
Commissioner O'Hara?
I have none.
And I have none myself. Considerations of changes to the agenda item number 6. Jennifer, it seems we're gonna have some changes.
Shockingly. Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight, I would ask that we add an agenda item for resolution 2023-012, which is to appoint the Natrona County District Attorney or his designee as a special prosecutor in a case for which our office has a conflict.
You have a place in the agenda you'd like to put that?
Anywhere you would like to put, you can put it at the end if you'd like.
Okay, let's put that at 23A.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other changes to the agenda? All right, item 7. Approval of consent agenda. Commissioners, whatever you'd like to do.
I move that we approve the consent agenda. I second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Now, on the regular agenda, item 8. Present for consideration amendment number 2 to the contract between the City of Laramie Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, and Logan Simpson for the development of the Albany County and City of Laramie Joint Growth Management Plan and Regulations for the purpose of extending the contract term through August 31st, 2023. David, good evening, and thank you.
Yeah, Chairman, Commissioners, this is simply a request to extend the contract term from May 31st to August 31st. Just to complete the work that they need to complete. And I think this should be the last extension. We should be able to get this wrapped up.
Awesome. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, David, what does that work? Because I know that the county planning and the city planning, the two separate entities have certified the plan. So what's the additional info?
So the other two components that are in the agreement with Logan Simpson are to provide us recommended regulations as well as a recommendation for intergovernmental agreement. So they have drafts, but they want to wait until the plan is completed to finish up those documents and then provide them to us. Then we'll do what we want with them. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for David? I'd entertain a motion for item 8, please.
I move that we approve item 8 as presented.
I second that. We moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Nay.
Aye. And that motion passes. Thank you. Item 9, award the bid for foundation counseling and consulting of Yellow to the approved contract between Albany County Commissioners and Foundation Counseling and Consulting Wyoming LLC to provide drug testing services to Albany County Court Supervised Treatment Program from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2025. Have a good evening. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioner. As previously approved, we went through an RFP process as our contract for our court supervised treatment program, adult and juvenile, was up. We submitted, put it out for RFP. We did receive 2 bids, and through scoring, Foundations was selected to provide those services for the next 2 years. So I'm asking commissioners to award and then approve that contract.
Any questions for that? If not, I agree with it. Motion for item number 9, please.
I move that we approve item number 9 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 10. Present for approval, grant application to the Department of Justice for the BJA fiscal year 2023 Community Courts Initiative Funds in amounts not to exceed $900,000 from October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2027 for funds to help with diversion services for Albany County Court Supervised Programs. Heather, looks like you're in it too.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate Bailey's help, so she can help fill in any gaps. I'm happy to have her here. So, in an effort to kind of expand, the justice reform and, expand our services that are available to the community, I had been looking for a grant opportunity that would offer, increased diversion services for our adult population here. With this grant, we are asking for a letter of support from the commissioners, as well as if the grant is awarded, there are some match funds that are tied to this grant. With this, it would serve participants in both municipal and county court. I've spoken to both judges and prosecutors in both courts, and they are all on board and writing letters of support as well. What we're looking at is creating the alternative sentencing program. It would be pre-plea, so after somebody was cited, anybody could apply for the diversion program. They don't need a defense attorney. As part of the planning phase, we would put it out for an application, information to the courts, information to law enforcement. As far as match funds, what we're asking for would be, it's $300,000 match over the 4 years. Only half of that would be what we would ask this county to contribute, which breaks down to the $37,500 per year. At this point, there is already $60,000 allocated for the TIA program, which would be enfolded into this program. So really, it would be a reappropriation of funds, and then the goal is to cut the county's responsibility for that from 60 to 37.5. With this, we would be hiring a new position, a diversion coordinator. We'd be utilizing a validated risk needs assessment to appropriately identify people for the program. With this program, we'd be looking at low to moderate risk as well as low to high need. Our goal is to focus on substance abuse and mental health needs that are coming through the court system. This grant would help fund substance abuse evaluations, mental health evaluations, treatment related to both of those. Any prevention education classes that could be offense specific, so shoplifting classes, theft classes, those types of things. So it would be to help relieve some of that financial limitations that people have for paying for treatment. Would also pay for drug testing. That is a component of this grant. Would also help identify transitional needs. So if somebody had committed an offense, a trespassing, property destruction that was related directly to homelessness, we would be able to address those, the homelessness need, provide bridge housing as part of this grant, which might look like either a motel deposit or a rent, deposit and rent while we apply for Cheyenne housing, those kind of things. So a lot of case management services to support people through the process. Case loads we have established would be kind of based off of a higher need population. So they are on the conservative end. Depending on what we have, if there's more low risk, low need people, then we would be able to bring more participants into the program. If we were awarded the grant, it would start in October with a 6-month planning process. And then it would be implemented after that, would be time frame that we would be looking at. And I think that's my spiel. Bailey had provided a budget.
Yeah, they're in front of you because I was having problems with the portal, so we had to make corrections and it was giving me a hard time. So I got it done today, but it is in front of you now.
So that is my spiel for support for the diversion program.
Any questions for Heather?
Yeah, but what if we don't get the grant? Or does this new diversion program go away altogether? Another alternative funding?
At alternative funding, I would have to look for other grant sources. I have spoken with the county attorney's office, and the plan is for the TIA program to come over to the court supervised treatment program. Just so that can be modified to fit more with the diversion criteria, those kind of things. And then hopefully build from there. The city was very much on board with in partnering with this. It applies to almost all of their charges that go through city court. And so I did let them know it would be half and half. I would have to watch caseloads. It couldn't fill with city participants and not have enough room for a county. So yes, it's absolutely tied to the funding, unfortunately, and I've been looking at options. Bailey has been great about helping me apply for grants.
How would that work though if it's absorbed into the current program, the drug treatment program right now? I know you guys are very busy. So
Very busy.
would it still entail hiring a coordinator?
No, it would not. It would be something that would be absorbed by myself. To help build that program and strengthen it, and then hopefully be able to then ask for funds. I found some database platforms that are diversion specific, that are online, that are free. That it's more the education prevention piece that those companies make their money from. So it's doable for the small caseload tied with TIA. It would absolutely just be a launching pad for increasing that program.
Okay. And last question, Heather, if it does go through the grant goes through and the 6-month planning process and the implementation and all, I saw some figures that by year 3, you'd want to have 30 participants. Is that realistic? With our population and all, is there that need? And I know every year it was like 20, then third year would be 30, fourth year would be 40.
Yes, and very realistic. That's very conservative. The concern actually coming from the city was that it's not nearly enough to provide services. The thing about that would be we would need to be doing a good job on the front end and identifying appropriate people. One of the big thing is they need to be motivated. You have somebody that has no interest in changing or addressing whatever led them in front of the court. They wouldn't be a good fit for diversion. If they just want to pay their fine and move on, then that's great. If there's somebody who does want to address mental health or substance abuse or some of those transitional needs, then that would be the program that we would be creating. So very much on the conservative end of things. I think that we could easily have 100 to 150 people in diversion. With some of the numbers that came through in writing the grant. I believe in 2022, Circuit Court had about between traffic offenses, and we wouldn't take all traffic offenses, of course, but and then criminal offenses, was somewhere around 4,000 cases that went through. And then with city, they have, I'd say there's probably about 1,000 cases by the time we got underage consumption, possession of a controlled substance, the trespassings, the property destructions, those kind of things. So definitely the numbers are here for it, and much less criteria than our other program. Of course, this is going to be more on the preventive education side.
Thank you.
Heather, is their anticipated residential treatment for people that have a pretty tough environment to try to work it out on their own?
Without our assistance, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are residential treatment facilities. People get very confused on the application process. Each agency has a different application, different requirements, different ways to apply. So very often, and Taylor, our peer specialist, is here tonight. She's getting more and more contacts from people in the community asking for her help on applying for treatment and where to go for resources. She's helped several people this year go through that process. So there are beds. We're currently right now getting people in within about 30 days of application.
Is that Wyoming or is that?
Wyoming. Yes.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
Any other questions, commissioners?
I just wanted to say, it's nice to see you, Heather.
Thank you.
I
Well,
move that we approve item 10 as presented. Second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Right.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That will be great. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you. I may be excused.
Shoot that.
Thank you.
Item 11, then for approval contract between Wyoming Department of Health, Public Health Division and Albany County for the purpose of setting forth the terms and conditions by which the subrecipient shall appear as appointed county health officer, provide additional support to the subrecipient public health nursing office in relation to public health preparedness and response for July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, in amount not to exceed $10,000. Yeah, we did.
Got right here.
Hey, excuse me.
This grant pays for the county health nurse, no, county health officer. Usually we get $9,600. They have increased it to 10,000, so it will be an additional $100 a reporter. But it's just standard, it goes directly to her.
Any questions? Entertain a motion for item 11. Please.
I move that we approve item 11 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 12, present for approval of contract between Wyoming Department of Health, Public Health Division, and Albany County for the purpose of setting forth the terms and conditions by which the subrecipient shall develop public health emergency preparedness response capability in the jurisdiction through implementation of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Public Health Preparedness capabilities from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, and about not to exceed $90,000.
So this funding helps pay for Zach Billen and his program, which is the preparedness program on the health side. We are getting, it looks like 2,000 more than what we were told we were getting, which is always a good thing, but it is less than we are currently getting, about $12,000 less, unfortunately. We actually had an on-site visit today with our funder. They seem to really enjoy our work. Yeah. Didn't have any major problems with this, just a few minor things that we needed to get them, and everything else looks good. But this program went smoothly, and I know it is something that's definitely needed.
Questions, commissioners? I entertain a motion for 12, then, please.
I move that we approve item 12 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
I'll put it in sign. Thank you, Bailey. Item 13, present for approval summer hours for public health to close on Fridays from June 30th, 2023 through September 30th, 2023 at 12:30 p.m. to work on a by appointment basis for the afternoons in conjunction with the farm department. Yeah.
Okay, good evening. Sorry, Bailey helps me out because I hate speaking. But I guess no one will do this one either, so I'm stuck up here. But so just like last year, we're asking that we can lock the doors 12:30 on those Fridays for the farmers market from June 30th through September 30th, just with the amount of traffic that they have. And that we had no complaints last year and everything worked smoothly. We did see our clients that were only able to come on Friday. So I think it worked out very well for everyone. Then they don't have to worry about parking as well when they came back, of course. So, but that's pretty much what it is, same as last year. Any questions?
Kim, did you participate at all in the farmers market, like at the COPSA table or the public health
So like last year or this year?
last year?
Last year, we did not. We did not have the funding to do it. So I have spoken with Andrew and we will sign up and we're definitely going to wait till towards like the school starting to do our immunizations information. And then I actually talked to Andrew this morning and I'm hoping that maybe the ACE coalition that we've started will take some, like one of the days and then, yeah, but we will sign up for some of those.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks to Andrew's funding.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones, anything?
Nope.
I entertain a motion for 13.
I move that we approve the summer hours for public health. Hold on Fridays from June 30th, 2023 through September 30th, 2023 at 12:30.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
I'll oppose same sign. That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
14, present for approval contracts between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, by and through the Albany County and Prosecuting Attorney's Office and the University of Wyoming for a restorative justice pre-sentencing program from April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024. Jennifer, thank you.
You're welcome. So this is a program that UW is spearheading that they're trying. It only applies to very limited citations that are given, and it requires consent of both the defendant and the victim. So they're working on that this year. Kurt has agreed to it. There's no cost to the county. Do you have any questions?
Commissioner, that question. Any input from the county or any staff time or any of those things?
I think the citations have to be approved by our office to be qualified to go over there. But other than that, that's really a minimal commitment from our office's side. It's essentially a diversion program for students for certain types of crimes.
Super, thank you.
And has anything happened so far? It says as of April 1st, 2023, I'm assuming not.
I
much is
don't-
Going on yet.
I don't think so. I think they have been in the planning phase and getting all the things sorted out because really we just finalized this contract within the last 2 weeks, week and a half.
So do they intend to put this in effect during the summer?
If they have anybody who's charged, I think so.
Any other question? I entertain a motion for item 14 if there are none.
I move that we approve item 14 as presented. Second.
Move and second, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
I'll oppose same sign. That motion carries. Item 15, present for approval agreement between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Albany, Wyoming, by and through the Albany County Human Resources Department and the Albany County Public Library Board of Directors for temporary human resources investigation services. Jennifer, thank you.
So the library no longer has an annual contract with Human Resources as they had done previously. However, there was an issue that came up at the library and they requested to enter into a contract with HR to assist them with an investigation into an employee complaint. So this is that contract. The library will be paying the county $2,500 for Anissa and Jana's services to investigate and write up the report and recommendations from their complaint.
So is that just for this complaint or is that?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I entertain a motion for item 15, please.
I move that we provide 15 as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye. Aye.
I'll oppose same sign. That motion carries. Item 16. Award bid for architectural and engineering services to remodel the first floor and expand its existing building at 3821 Beach Street to erect design. Jennifer, please.
So this is one of the two RFQs that we put out. We had 2 responses for both this one and the next one in 17. And after the committee scored the proposals, sat through the interviews and looked through their cost proposals, the numbers worked out that the award for this project was given to a Red Design. Or we're recommending that it be awarded to a Red Design.
Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, Jennifer, remind me who all was on that committee.
On the RFP scoring committee was just Bailey, Jake and I.
And who was the other contractor?
Phase 1 architects.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, commissioners? If not, I entertain a motion for item 16, please.
I move that we award the bid for the architectural engineering services to remodel the first floor and expand its existing building at 3821 Beach Street to Eric, is that how to say it?
A ret.
A ret.
It's either a ret or a REIT, and I can never remember which. Sorry, Dale.
Design group. Second,
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing that, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 17, award bid for architectural and engineering services to remodel the existing second floor of 3821 Beach Street to a red design group. Jennifer.
So this, as it says, is the remodel of that existing second floor so that it could, with the intention to move public health, WIC and prevention specialists into it. And we did this project separately, so hopefully it will have a faster timeline so we can get public health moved more quickly than if we are able to build the entirety of the expansion on the new building. So, and that again, after it was scored, the award based on points was to a red design.
Commissioners, any questions for item 17? If not, I entertain a motion for 17, please.
I move that we award bid for architectural and engineering services to remodel the existing second floor of 3821 Beach Street, Tourette Design Group. Second,
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Item 18, present for approval, invitation to bid for purchase and delivery of 2 full-size 4-door, 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive sport utility vehicles with upgraded suspension pursuit for police package specifications, the 2 full-size 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive pickup trucks with upgraded suspension pursuit for police package specifications with trade-ins and direct the clerk to advertise. Sheriff, please.
Evening, commissioners. This is our yearly bid for new vehicles and trading in our basically our old used and not well-functioning vehicles that we've had for anywhere between the 4 or more years on there as well. So there'll be 4 that we'll be purchasing this year, and I believe it's 3 that will be trading.
Commissioners, any questions for Sheriff Appalachia?
Yeah, sure. I know it varies with from vehicle to vehicle and all that. What's the mileage like that we get out of these?
Usually we're trading in vehicles that are anywhere between 97 to 110,000 miles on there as well. We don't necessarily look at our vehicles in terms of mileage when we turn them in. We look at it as more of either time used or cost of repair versus cost of usage. When we look at that as well. So, but because the county is fairly large and we have to go to a lot of places, we do rack up the mileage fairly quickly.
Any other questions? I entertain a motion for 18, please.
I move that we approve the invitation to bid for purchase and delivery of these vehicles and direct the clerk to advertise. Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
aye. Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 19, present for approval, modification of grant or agreement for the cooperative law enforcement annual operating and financial plan between Medicine Bow Roof National Forest, the Thunder Basin National Grasslands, and the Albany County Sheriff's Office for patrol of the United States Forest Roads. Sheriff, again, please.
Yes, this is our yearly contract between the Albany County Sheriff's Office and the United States Forest Service for patrol in our national forests and national grasslands that we have within the county. I believe that agreement is for $19,600 to run between essentially now, if you guys decide to approve it, until the end of the year.
Commissioners, any questions? There are none. I entertain a motion for 19, please.
I move that we approve item 19 as presented. Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
aye. Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 20, award bid for magnesium chloride and holding tank delivered to Laramie, Wyoming, and direct chairman of that contract. Rob, good evening.
Good evening, commissioners. We received 2 bids for the mag chloride. The first bid was from Desert Mountain for $38,460. The second bid was from Dust Busters for 34,580, so be my recommendation that we go with Dustbusters. $4,000 last, so both had the same strengths and stuff, so.
Any questions for Rob?
Is this who we've gotten with before? Rob?
Yeah, these are two of the basic ones. Last year we were Desert Mountain. They beat out Dustbusters, so I guess this year it's but these are the two that do a lot of work in Wyoming. And bid on a lot of the county and city jobs.
Thank you.
Any other questions? There are none, I'd entertain a motion for item 20, please.
I move that we award bid to Dustbusters and direct the chairman to sign the contract. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. 21, present for approval, application for catering permit for Delancey Enterprises LLC for the Long State Art Association reception located at Black Box on Wealth, 1000 Wealth Lane, Laramie, Wyoming, on June 1st, 2023, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Kayla.
Good evening. I have a catering permit for Delancey Enterprises. They are actually a liquor license holder out of Laramie County. So I have a letter from the Laramie County Clerk authorizing them to use their license within Albany County. Everything was good. I sent it to the sheriff and Jennifer. They do this event every year, so pretty standard.
Any questions? Kayla? I entertain a motion for 21 then, please.
I move that we approve item 21 as presented. Second.
We can second it. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Item 22, present for concurrence, Albany County Board of Commissioners Resolution 2023-011, City of Laramie, Wyoming Resolution 2023-36, resolution appointing 2 members of the Environmental Advisory Committee for the City of Laramie, Wyoming. And so those were conducted by, the interviews were conducted by Councilor O'Doherty and myself about a week ago. Both pretty impressive people with a lot of background. And so we thought they would make wonderful people on the EHC.
Commissioner Bosler, remind me who will be stepping away. Is it Ramsey?
Yeah, so it's Eric Krajanic, Evelyn Hill, Ramsey Bentley, and Mary Grace Benwell. 3 of those were scheduled. Eric Krajanic, Evelyn Hill, and Ramsey Bentley. Mary Grace moved, took a new position, visit North Carolina. So we'll have a few more members to
No.
fill.
Okay. And who are the appointees?
Thank you.
Aubrey Edwards.
Aubrey Edwards and Dr. Ron Mars.
Okay.
Aubrey is in the city and Dr. Ron Mars is in the county.
I know Aubrey, she sits on the public bar coalition.
Yeah. And Dr. Mars taught at the university, is a geologist, geophysicist, and a lot of other things that really make him an interesting person. Welcome for source of knowledge for that.
And you got their anthropology backgrounds?
Yeah. Any other questions? Not an entertainment motion for item 22, please.
I move that we appoint Aubrey Edwards and Dr. Ron Morris to the AEC. EAC, sorry. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 23, present for approval the use of county logo for the purpose of a town and gown brochure supporting the city's rental ordinance. Commissioner Rivera,
yeah.
please.
Town of God has been meeting for over a year and has been trying to reestablish with the whole entity or the whole organization with the crucial organizations that need to be at the table now. And so in the process, we're trying to become a little bit more organized and be able to put out information, whether it's in brochures or online and all, for students who will come to Laramie to attend UW, LCCC, or Wyoming Tech. And so one of the those publications that will be coming out will be a brochure explaining a little bit about the city resident ordinance or the rental ordinance. And so Town of Gowan would like to be able to show everybody's support who are part of the Town of Gowan organization by using their logo. And so just coming to the commission to ask to show support for the ordinance through the use of our logo.
Any questions?
What is the city's rental ordinance?
Well, it's the one that they approved last year that just came into
Give me a synopsis.
okay. Now that all people owning rental property that they will be putting up for rent are required to register that property. If not, they will be eligible or will receive a fine. There are certain criteria that were approved by the city council as to what makes a good rental property. And so they've seen an increase of permits requiring or permits required to, for instance, put in windows, egress windows and all. And so there's a whole gamut of necessities now that they're just intended to improve rental conditions in properties that have normally been rented to students. And also on the student side, they have to adhere to various things that.
And what do they have to adhere to?
So things like definitely signing a lease, if that's what's required of them, to present a problem to the owner before they go to any kind of legal action, just more open communication between the owner of the property and the renter.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And those ordinances won't be into effect until 2025, I believe. So they have to register the rental, but if they need egress windows, and those things have to be up. They'll be up for inspection after 2025. They have a couple years to comply. Thank you, Rivera. I entertain any motion for item 23 then, please.
I move that we approve the use of the county logo for the purpose of the town of Gowan motion.
Second, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign.
Nick?
That motion carries. Item 23A, approve resolution 2023-012, appointing the Corner County DA as a special prosecutor, and that's where my ran out.
For a case in which our office has a conflict.
For a case.
There you go.
Thank you.
That pretty much sums it all up.
Jennifer.
We have a case in our office where there's a conflict.
That's great.
I know, it just started all of a sudden. I was like, we're almost at the end. We're gonna have to drag it out and as the reins. Our office has a conflict. The Natrona County District Attorney, Daniel Itzen, has agreed to take the case and prosecute it on our behalf. We do this semi-regularly. I think you've all seen them before. We also do them for other counties when they have conflicts.
Any other questions, Commissioner? I entertain a motion for 23.
I move that we approve item 23A as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
And aye. And motion carries. Thank you. And was there anybody in opposition to that? Okay, great. Item 24, approved payroll document for May 2023. I entertain a motion, please.
I move that we approve the vouchers for May 2022.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Please.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Seeing no more business before the Wyoming County Commission on May 16, 2023. Call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in a few more weeks. May has a couple extra weeks, so it will be June 6th, I believe, is the next meeting. Thank you all. Have a nice night. Appreciate it.